Something big might be coming, and no one knows exactly when it'll hit. But one thing's clear: global uncertainty is growing fast. Markets are unstable, tensions between nations are boiling, and now experts are warning about possible food shortages in 2025. This isn't just fear-mongering, it's preparation time. So tonight, let's talk about 5 essential foods you absolutely need to stock up on before May arrives. We'll break down why these foods matter, how they can save you in a crisis, and the smartest ways to store them. First up, dried beans and lentils. Don't underestimate these humble pantry staples. They're rich in protein, loaded with fiber, and packed with essential minerals that your body craves in times of stress. Plus, they're one of the most affordable, long-lasting foods out there, which makes them perfect for prepping on a tight budget. But here's where it gets serious. Climate shifts, rising fuel costs, and fragile supply chains are putting pressure on global agriculture. Beans and lentils, often grown in major regions like the US, Canada, India, and South America, are already vulnerable to extreme weather like heat waves and droughts. When that happens, crop yields fall, prices spike, and availability drops. And with inflation trends expected to worsen in 2025, now's the smartest time to buy these in bulk while they're still within reach. What makes them even more valuable is how flexible they are. You can cook beans into hearty soups or stews, or combine them with rice to create a complete protein that keeps you energized for hours. Lentils are a top-tier emergency food because they cook much faster than other legumes. No soaking needed, and they're ready in 20 to 30 minutes. That's a huge win if your cooking fuel is limited during an emergency. When it comes to storage, keep it simple but secure. Airtight containers are your best friend. Food-grade buckets or Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers will keep them fresh for years. And if you're watching your spending, even sealed jars kept in a cool, dark space can do the job just fine. The key is to act before supply chains get hit again, because when panic starts, store shelves empty fast. Even a cool, quiet corner of your home can become a powerful survival tool if you store your food the right way. When it comes to beans and lentils, the goal is simple: keep out oxygen, moisture, and light, and you can stretch their shelf life up to 8 years or more, depending on the variety. Sounds easy, but there's a bit of strategy involved. One of the smartest prepping habits is rotating your stock. Every time you buy new beans, slide them to the back and use the older ones first. Label everything clearly with dates. Future, you will thank you when there's no guessing game in a stressful situation. Over time, beans that sit too long can get tougher and take longer to cook. That's why it's wise to refresh your stash every year or two. Not only does this keep your supply fresh, but it also helps you get comfortable using them. Trust me, you don't want your first time cooking beans to be during a blackout. You'll already know your favorite recipes, how long they take to cook, and how to season them just right. Speaking of flavor, don't forget the spices. Cumin, chili powder, and dried garlic can take plain beans from barely edible to seriously satisfying. Seasonings are often the most overlooked part of prepping, but they make a huge difference in morale when times are tough. Now, a quick word about lentils. They don't last quite as long as beans, typically around 5 years when stored under ideal conditions. But many real-life preppers and homesteaders say they've used them even after a decade with no issues. The trick? Seal them properly and keep them away from heat and moisture. If you dig through the online prepping forums and long-term food storage guides, you'll find endless stories from people who swear by lentils as a must-have. They're nutritious, easy to store, and cook quickly, which makes them gold in an emergency. And now, let's move to a perfect companion: rice. This isn't just filler food, it's a survival classic. Pair it with beans or lentils, and you've got a complete protein that keeps your energy steady. White rice, when sealed tightly in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers, can last 20 to 30 years with minimal nutritional loss. That's the kind of long-haul storage you want in your pantry. But here's the twist: rice prices are rising, and it's not random. Weird weather, export restrictions from top rice-producing countries, and shipping costs have all played a role. If things get worse globally, rice could be one of the first staples to skyrocket in price. So don't wait for the shelves to empty again. Buy it now while it's still affordable. Now, not all rice is created equal. Brown rice has more nutrients, but also contains natural oils in its bran layer. That makes it spoil much faster, sometimes within 6 months to a year. If your goal is long-term prepping, go with white rice or parboiled rice. They last way longer and still provide plenty of calories and comfort during hard times. Let's face it, during a crisis, you're not going to be craving gourmet meals. You'll want food that's filling, familiar, and easy to work with. That's where rice truly shines. It's more than just a backup. It becomes the backbone of your meals. Whether you're whipping up a stir-fry, a basic casserole, or just pairing it with a can of beans, rice keeps you grounded when everything else feels uncertain. Its neutral flavor is a huge plus. It plays well with just about any protein, veggie, or spice you've got. And in a situation where your food options are limited, that kind of flexibility matters more than you think. Now, storing rice is pretty straightforward. It's almost identical to how you'd store beans. Use Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers, tuck them inside food-grade buckets, and stash them somewhere cool and dark. Here's a crucial tip. For every 10-degree drop in temperature, the shelf life of your grains doubles. That means if you're storing rice in a hot garage that hits 100 degrees Fahrenheit in summer, you're seriously cutting down its longevity. If that's your only option, consider insulating the space or using a closet indoors where the temps are more stable. Another smart trick is vacuum sealing smaller portions of rice. That way, you're not opening your entire stash every time you need a cup. It protects the rest from moisture and keeps it fresh longer. Most rice is grown in Asia, but don't forget, states like Arkansas, California, and Louisiana produce large amounts too. Even so, if shipping gets delayed, ports clog up, or storms hammer major rice-producing countries, we could see global prices spike. That's not a maybe. It's already happening. Analysts tracking the global food chain warn that bottlenecks, climate events, or political tension overseas could send rice costs through the roof. So the smart move is to stock up before it hits your wallet. Keep it practical. Load up on regular long-grain white rice, since it lasts the longest and is cheapest by far. But don't be afraid to treat yourself with a little variety. A small stash of jasmine or basmati rice can lift your spirits when you're stuck eating from your pantry for weeks. Some folks even keep red or wild rice on hand. Though pricier, they break the monotony and make meals feel less like survival and more like comfort. Now let's get to number 3, canned proteins, because protein isn't just important, it's essential. Dried beans and lentils are great, but what if you lose power or can't cook? You'll need ready-to-eat protein that lasts, and that's where canned meats come in. We're talking about tuna, salmon, chicken, sardines, even canned ham. These aren't luxury items. They're practical, nutrient-rich, and crucial when cooking isn't an option. With inflation ticking upward and supply chains still wobbling, it's not hard to imagine these cans getting more expensive, or disappearing altogether. And here's something most people don't know. Many fisheries are under stress. Climate change, overfishing, and shifting regulations are tightening supplies worldwide. So if you think canned protein is a sure thing, think again. Picture this. You're in the middle of a crisis, power's out, stores are wiped clean, and you're digging into your emergency food stash. You've got rice and beans. But what about protein that's ready to eat, straight from the can, no cooking needed? That's where canned meats become your best friend. And trust me, they disappear fast when things go sideways. Tuna, salmon, chicken, sardines, even canned ham. These might seem like ordinary pantry items, but when supply chains tighten or prices skyrocket, they become gold. And we're already seeing warning signs. Climate shifts are affecting global fisheries, causing unpredictable supply swings, especially for tuna and salmon. On top of that, the U.S. poultry industry has battled waves of avian flu outbreaks that have wiped out flocks and driven prices up. So if you wait until shelves are empty or prices double, you're way too late. Canned proteins are super easy to store. They're stackable, compact, and have shelf lives ranging from 2 to 5 years, sometimes even longer if stored right. And don't let those printed expiration dates scare you. A lot of seasoned preppers safely use canned goods past the best buy date, as long as the cans are intact. No dents, no rust, no swelling. You're likely still good to go, but always follow your own comfort zone and inspect every can regularly. A smart strategy is to rotate through your stock. Use a can, replace a can, make it part of your weekly meals. Toss canned chicken into a soup. Mix canned salmon with pasta, or top a salad with sardines. This way, your supply stays fresh and your taste buds stay happy. And here's something many forget: canned fish like sardines or mackerel. But avoid oversharing details, how much you've stored, or exactly where it is. Desperate times can create tension, and it's better to keep things secure and discreet. And here's one more tip. Beyond the big five foods, having a few extras like salt, sugar, honey, cooking oil, and spices can make a huge difference. Salt isn't just for flavor, it helps preserve food when fridges go out. Honey lasts forever and adds natural sweetness. Cooking oils can boost calories and make meals more satisfying, but choose stable ones like coconut oil or refined olive oil and rotate them regularly so they don't go bad. Worried about space? Don't be. Start small. Slide a few cans of tuna under the bed. Tuck a bucket of rice into a closet. Stack freeze-dried pouches behind the couch. The key is organization. Track your inventory with a notebook or spreadsheet. Mark purchase dates and rotate through your supplies as you use them. And here's the beauty of it all. You're not just storing food. You're preparing to thrive. You're creating a cushion against the unknown, something future you will thank you for. Even if nothing ever goes wrong, and we hope it doesn't, the food doesn't go to waste. You've just built yourself a backup plan, and peace of mind you can taste. Getting used to these foods now, before an emergency hits, means less waste and way more peace of mind later. Some people get scared off by dramatic headlines, talk of doomsday, SHTF scenarios, or full-blown collapse. But here's the truth. Real-life disruptions happen all the time. Ice storms, earthquakes, hurricanes, job losses. Any one of those can leave you relying on your pantry just to make it through the week, or to avoid blowing your budget when times get tight. And the thing is, 2025 is shaping up to be even more unpredictable. Rising prices, labor shortages, geopolitical tension, climate weirdness. There are a lot of moving pieces. That's why having these 5 core food categories gives you an edge. It's not just about surviving. It's about staying strong, healthy, and calm when things get shaky. Wondering how much to store? A lot of seasoned preppers suggest a minimum of 3 months of food per person. If you've got the space and resources, 6 months to a year is even better. But the key is to customize it for your household. If someone in your family can't stand beans, try lentils or split peas. Rice is great, but pasta or quinoa can mix things up. Canned proteins don't just mean tuna. They can include Spam, chili, shredded chicken, or even corned beef. Choose stuff you'll actually eat. Shelf-stable dairy is a game changer. Great for coffee, cooking, or adding calcium when you need it most. And those freeze-dried fruits and vegetables? They're more than just nutrients. They add color, variety, and even joy to a stressful day. Once you step back and look at the full picture, you'll see that these 5 categories cover everything your body needs. Carbs from rice or pasta, plant protein from beans and lentils, animal protein from canned meats, dairy nutrients from powdered milk, or UHT options, vitamins and minerals from freeze-dried fruits and veggies. And here's what really stands out when you dig through prepper forms, personal stories, and expert advice. The people who had a balanced pantry always did better. Living off just rice and beans is doable, but you'll feel stronger, more energetic, and even happier if you add a little variety. Your mindset matters just as much as your meals. Last thing, don't overlook storage. Keep your stash in a cool, dry space. Label everything. Check for pests or damaged packaging once in a while. If you're worried about mice or insects, use heavy-duty plastic bins. And don't buy it all at once just to forget about it. Consistency wins. Small steps, steady habits, and a simple rotation plan will make sure your food stays fresh and useful. Look, we're living in a time where even major stores are warning about supply chain issues. Small shops are even more vulnerable. That's why preparedness isn't just for survivalists anymore. More and more everyday people are realizing the wisdom of keeping essential foods on hand. When the next crisis rolls through, and it won't be panic that greets you. It'll be peace of mind, thanks to a well-thought-out pantry. Right now is your chance. Before prices spike, before shortages hit again. Focus on those 5 essential foods: dried beans and lentils, rice, canned proteins, shelf-stable dairy, and freeze-dried produce, and you'll be better prepared for whatever 2025 throws at us and beyond. When trucks stop running or panic buyers strip the shelves, fresh produce is the first thing to vanish. That's where freeze-dried options step in and save the day. Here's something that can quietly make or break your survival stash: freeze-dried fruits and vegetables. They've exploded in popularity recently, and for good reason. These lightweight, nutrient-packed powerhouses can last 25 years or more if stored right. That's not just impressive, it's potentially life-saving. Unlike dehydrated foods, which lose more nutrition during processing, freeze-dried produce locks in flavor, texture, and most of the original nutrients. Sure, it's a bit pricier up front, but think of it as investing in your future health, because when stress levels are high and resources are scarce, your immune system needs all the support it can get. Take a quick online browse, and you'll find a growing list of companies offering freeze-dried strawberries, blueberries, bananas, peas, broccoli, corn, pretty much any fruit or veggie you can think of. And you're not stuck just eating them as is. Add them to soups, stews, smoothies, or desserts. Rehydrate them for meals or snack on them crunchy, straight out of the bag. They're also super lightweight, so if you ever need to evacuate fast, they won't weigh you down. Now, here's the catch: storage matters. These gems need airtight packaging, usually Mylar pouches or number 10 cans, and a good brand will include oxygen absorbers inside. Always check for any pinholes, dents, or damaged seals. A compromise package? That's a hard pass. Keep them tucked away in a cool, dark place for the longest shelf life. And if you open a pouch, reseal it quickly with a fresh oxygen absorber, or plan to use it up in a short window. Some folks ask, are they really worth the cost? And the answer is, absolutely. A single number 10 can of freeze-dried broccoli, for example, can carry enough fiber and vitamin C to keep your system strong during a high-stress week. When you're stuck in a scenario where it's just rice, beans, and canned meat day after day, those colorful fruits and veggies aren't just nutrients, they're morale boosters. That psychological lift, it matters more than you think. Plus, let's not forget how shaky things are getting. With produce seasons being disrupted by weather, global shipping delays, and price spikes across the board, having shelf-stable fruits and veggies at home frees you from that uncertainty. You're no longer relying on stores to be stocked, or even open. At the end of the day, it's not about fear, it's about being prepared. And a well-rounded food stash, one with proteins, carbs, healthy fats, and plenty of micronutrients, sets you up to survive and thrive. You don't need to guess if this works. Real-life stories from preppers who've weathered hurricanes, wildfires, and job losses prove that planning ahead changes everything. So whether it's rising food prices, a natural disaster, or just peace of mind, stocking smart now means less panic later. And hey, that crunchy handful of freeze-dried pineapple might just be the thing that gets you through a tough day. Staying ready, both physically and mentally, starts with the basics. When you combine dried beans, rice, and canned proteins, you've already got a solid foundation. But it's the extras, shelf-stable dairy, and freeze-dried fruits and vegetables that take your stash from survival to real nourishment. These additions bring you the vitamins and nutrients that your body and mind will desperately need in a crisis. It's not just about food either. If you spend a little time learning basic cooking techniques, fuel-saving strategies, and how to filter water, you're building real power. The power to stay calm and capable when things get unpredictable. And unpredictability is the name of the game right now. Whether it's political tensions, global supply issues, rising energy costs, or another natural disaster waiting in the wings, the signs are everywhere. Remember how fast everything changed during the pandemic? That's your reminder. Grocery store shelves emptied overnight. Prices soared. And it wasn't just toilet paper. People were scrambling for basic food items. By getting ahead of that chaos, by stockpiling the essentials now, you're giving yourself options. You're buying peace of mind. Experts say there's still time, but they also warn that 2025 could bring more economic turbulence and climate surprises. The earlier you act, the more you'll save. Not just money, but stress. Because being prepared doesn't just feed your body, it strengthens your confidence. You're no longer relying on help that may not come in time. You're not waiting in line when things go south. And if someone close to you does need help, having a little extra lets you be generous without putting yourself at risk. That said, keep your stash private. It's smart to talk about general prepping with people you trust, especially if you want them to build their own supplies.